The idea of danger evokes images of remote battlegrounds, not strolling down city streets. Yet in our increasingly interconnected world, some urban centers hide terrifying statistics. Behind everyday facades, these are the 10 most dangerous cities on Earth, where violence, economic hardship, and social turmoil collide in ways both shocking and heartbreaking. Starting in Caracas, Venezuela, where living amid the ruins of a once bustling metropolis has become an entrance test. Soaring inflation, political gridlock, and chronic scarcity have pushed the murder rate to over 60 per 100,000 people. Armed robberies and kidnappings have become normalized, and even simply grabbing a taxi can involve looming threats. Walking through neighborhoods means passing through checkpoints, distrust in public institutions, and the constant fear of running into armed gangs. Over in Cape Town, South Africa, the juxtaposition of stunning mountain backdrops with bullet-riddled community centers is jarring. Some areas see over 30 murders per 100,000 annually, fueled by drug turf wars. Sprawling informal settlements and limited policing, tourists may flock to Table Mountain. But behind the scenes, poor infrastructure and gang violence make safety a daily gamble for many. Residents, next, dive into San Pedro Sula in Honduras, once rivaling Baghdad for homicide rates. With over 40 murders per 100,000 and an entrenched network of drug cartels like MS-13 and Barrio 18. Even local businesses hire private security, impunity reigns. With just a fraction of crimes ever seeing prosecution, every trip outside feels like walking through a minefield with extortion, violent crime, and feuding factions claiming lives with brutal regularity. In Acapulco, Mexico, the glittering resort town became a violent battleground when drug cartels shifted from trafficking to territorial warfare. Murders now exceed 70 per 100,000 in some areas. Tourists are increasingly warned away as gunfights erupt in broad daylight. Targeted homicides of business owners rise, and public trust in local authorities continues to erode. Moving to Brazil, one of the most notorious is Fortaleza, once a beach paradise. The city now sees over 50 murders per 100,000 annually. Gangs control entire favelas, carrying out kidnappings, home invasions, and turf shootings. Despite attempts at urban renewal, youth poverty, systemic corruption, and fractured law enforcement make lasting change feel distant. In Ciudad Juarez along the U.S.-Mexico border, cartel violence reached apocalyptic levels in the late 2000s. In St. Louis, USA, the homicide rate is around 60 per 100,000, making it one of the highest in North America. Systemic inequality, gang activity, and a battered public health infrastructure underpin the violence. Entire neighborhoods experience entrenched poverty, lack of opportunity, and fragmented families. The annual murder numbers rival those of cities in war zones. Heading to Honduras again, Tegucigalpa suffers from a lethal mix of youth gangs, weak policing, and economic instability, with rates soaring past 40 per 100,000. Daylight home invasions and street executions are tragically common. Art police stations and bulletproof buses have become normal sights on public streets. In Cape Verde's capital, Praia, violence surged as an unintended consequence of growing drug routes through West Africa. The city has seen murder rates climb above 30 per 100,000, fueled by gang rivalries and inadequate policing. Conversation about community watch groups and armed patrols became commonplace in what had been seen as one of Africa's safer capitals. Last, we land in Tijuana, Mexico, where cross-border trade and cartels create lethal friction. With killings around 70 per 100,000 in peak years, drive-by shootings, body dumps, and extortion are daily realities for many. Mexico's federal police sometimes displace violence rather than contain it, leaving civilians caught in the crossfire amid a perpetual war for control. These cities share painful patterns: corruption, class separation, gang influence, and resource-starved governments. But beyond the headlines are human stories: families barricaded inside homes, youth forced into violence, communities rebuilding in pockets of peace amid the chaos. Knowing where danger thrives is only the first step. Understanding the root causes poverty, impunity, Marginalization means recognizing that lasting safety requires social repair and investment as much as enforcement.